What's up guys, Trigger Tickle here, back again with another YouTube video. So today I'm going to talk about dragons, and specifically dragons b10, because I finally got a team up and running that's running it consistently, so I'm here to share that with you. This is going to be a long video, so I'll leave annotations up there if you want to skip ahead to say like rune suggestions or team compositions or monsters that work best for it. I do have 4 different team compositions right now that do work. I'm going to go ahead and real quick and I'm going to show you the one that I use primarily. It does have about a 90% success rate. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that up, and then we'll jump back here and we'll talk about that team, the runes on them. So go ahead, watch it, enjoy it, and we'll get back to it. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the run. So you saw right there when it was running like the crystals do apply, it's a defense break upon your monsters. So generally they're not super fast. That is the most important attribute that you can get for dragons, is try to get for speed. But the crystals aren't super fast, so you can outspeed them relatively easily. And you want to keep them stunned. So Veromos is very helpful with that. He does keep them stunned. And then with right there you can see with God, I can't think, what's his name? Baretta has despair, so he also does an AoE stun as well, has a chance for it. And he also applies dots. So the first 2 waves are really easy to get through. You're not going to have trouble there. The main one that you're going to have trouble with is the 3rd stage, the mini boss, the mini Zaros. That a lot of people think that he is the main boss. The dragon, the final one, not too bad. He doesn't do a lot of damage unless you have dots on you, but you can keep him cleansed. He's great. That 3rd stage though, because he puts all of your skills on cooldown. So how I get through that right there with my aerial is because aerial has 100% resistance. So most times the Zaros's fire blast doesn't affect his cooldowns. So if you can get past that stage, you can get through to the boss. Well, I mean, obviously, you can get through that stage and get to the boss. But what I'm trying to say is that is the main thing. The main goal that you want to try to is to get past that stage. So how do you do that? You want to be able to outspeed them. You need a lot of speed for this area, and you need survivability. So you want to try to keep the crystal stunned, so Baretta helps really good there, and Veromos with the second skill helps a lot too. And if you can keep them down, they'll normally go after, and what happens is with Belladeon, you normally scratch, defense break one of the crystals, and then the other guys will take that out. And then if you can get one of the crystals taken out, you can bear the damage of the other one and the dragon. So you want to be able to either, three things. You want to keep crowd control on the crystals, and then just slowly whittle them down. You want to go turbo fast with, say, like a nuke composition, a YOLO team, where you just blast everything in oblivion, or you want a mix of crowd control and dots. So what I'm doing is, it's a hybrid. It's crowd control, dots, survivability. So that's how I get through the second part there, and that's basically what you want to look at when you're trying to get through that part. Next wave, again, trash. You're not going to have too much of a trouble with it. And then when you get to the boss, left crystal, poison crystal, so applies dot to your team, damage over time. That will in turn cause the dragon to do more damage the more dots you have built up on you. And then the right tower is immunity to boss. So if you're going to make a team that goes straight to boss, you're going to have to be extremely fast, you're going to have to do a lot of damage, or you're going to have to apply a shit ton of dots first turn that you get, because as soon as the dragon goes, that tower is going to immediately remove all the damage, or I'm sorry, the debuffs that are on him, and they're going to apply immunity for 2 turns. So with that, what Megan does is she can remove the immunity, and so can Belladeon. So I don't have enough speed with this team yet to go straight to boss, because I just don't have it. So that's why I go left crystal, right crystal, boss. And typically a lot of you players out there that are just starting to run dragons, that is what you're going to start out with, because if you're going to go straight to boss, typically you want to have at least 180, 190 speed on all of your units. Not necessarily all of them, there are exceptions, such as, like, say, the Water Phoenix. You can go a little bit slower on that, but you still want to have some pretty good speed buffs on them. I'm sorry, pretty good speed stats on them. So let's go right into it. I'm going to show you what this team has. No, not there. There we go. Alright, so let's start with Megan. So Megan has 170 speed. And also, I'm going to talk about that here in a second. Turn rotation or turn order. Yeah, turn order. I'm going to talk about turn order, because turn order, you're going to start to get a little bit more into that. Turn order is really important for dragons, and it's immensely important for Necro, but we're not talking about Necro. So turn order is very important for this. So we're going to talk about that here in a second. But all right, so Megan. So you want to try to shoot for at least 18k HP on all of your units. That's something that you do need to shoot for, unless it's a nuke unit, which, like say, Sigmaris doesn't have a lot of HP because he's just so damn powerful with his nuke abilities. But any support units, you want to try to get them at least 18k HP, or else they're just going to go down like crazy. So runes are extremely important for dragons. They're actually a little bit more important than the monsters themselves. Yeah, I actually think that this is where you start getting into it. So like when you were doing giants, you can get away with bad runes. You could get away with having 5-star monsters if you had some decent runes. And it was mostly based upon like your monster's skills. Not so with dragons. Dragons, you need good runes, you need good substats, and you have to have the runes leveled up appropriately. So with Megan, you want to shoot for as high speed as you can get. So that's going to be the most important. I would say don't run her unless you have at least 170 speed. Also, get her as close as you can to 100% accuracy, because her first skill right here applies continuous damage. Her second skill is going to be able to remove the boss's immunity if you're going to go straight to boss. And her third skill is just, you can't really do without it. It's great. It's an attack bar booster, and it gives you an attack and defense buff, so that's going to help you survive those crystal attacks. It'll help you get past the mini boss, the mini Zaros, so that's awesome. And again, she's not farmable per se, but you're eventually going to pull one. If you're at this point, Dragons, a lot of you will probably have her. If not, I'll talk about a replacement. How would you rune her? Swift. Go Swift. Especially if you're transitioning from Giants into Dragons, you're probably going to have a lot of good Swift runes available. So mainly shoot for that as your main set. Your offset, you can go with either Energy or Focus if you have them. And again, like I said, try to shoot for Speed and Focus. So what do I have her? So Speed, and again, you want these to be at least plus 12. I don't have this as plus 12 yet. I'm working on it, but it still works with her as a 10. So, alright, so I have Speed, HP, substats, and you can see right there, crit rate and crit damage, you know, it's useless for it, but it's the best I had at the time, so that's what I threw on her, and it works. And then again, accuracy, HP, substats, this will be your HP percent, speed and accuracy, which that's a pretty good rune. I'm surprised I pulled that. You'll get one though, eventually, if you keep running Giants. Accuracy again, substats. So accuracy, I threw it on there. Again, you want to try to get her with 100% accuracy as you can. I couldn't pull it off with substats, so that's what I went with. And then that one with HP. So that's my Megan. Alrighty, second one, let's go with Veromos. So Veromos, alright, I'm going to talk about this. So why do I have him on Swift? This is why. If you're going to put Veromos on Violent, you're probably not going to be able to do so because you're just transitioning from Giants, and you're probably going to be able to run Dragons B8 with your Giants team. You're probably not going to have very good Violent runes at that time. So if you're going to put Veromos on your team, the reason why you're doing it is because of that right there. His third skill, Conversion Magic, removes the dots that are on your team. In order for him to do that effectively, you need to have him at least 180 or 170 to 180 on Violent, or as close as you can get to 200 on Swift. Preferably, he would be a lot more useful to me if I had him around like 210, 220. I can't do it right now, but if you're going to put him on Swift, you want him pretty close to 200 speed if he's your only cleanser, and he is my only cleanser on that one. So that's what you should be focusing on. Try to get speed, 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 speed. The second one you're really going to need on this hem is going to be HP, and a lot of people say, well, why not accuracy? He's dots. True. If he dies though, and he's your only cleanser, you're going to wipe. Chances are you're going to wipe. So speed first, HP second, and then focus on accuracy third. So here's the runes for him. So speed, HP, accuracy. So there you go, Veromos. Bella. So again, I've got it with Violent focus on this. So what I can't really pump the HP into him, and this is one of the units that are lacking. First and foremost, you want speed on him. With him at least 170. And again, most of your units, any of your support units, you want them around 170 speed minimum. There are some leniences there, plus or minus, but mostly that's where you want to shoot. So speed and HP is really important for him because is he? No, I've got arrow. But if you're going to use him as a primary healer, he can't die. If he does, you're going to wipe. So you want him. He works with around, what's he got? 17,000? Yeah, that's 17,000 HP. Preferably you want him as close to 220k as you can get because he's going to be able to survive a lot more. So HP around 20k, speed around 170, and then you want to start pumping accuracy into him because his defense break is amazing with the trash waves, and then his C's second skill right here, which removes the boss's immunity, great skill. So that's 4. And then Baretta. So Baretta's awesome. Not really useful for the attack speed right now because you can use him later for a speed team, but your other monsters are going to have some really good runes at that time, and he doesn't work for a beginner's team as a leader. Baretta's great though, so you want to try to shoot for, again, speed. Around 170 works. You want to shoot for, this guy needs a little bit more accuracy on him because his dots are mostly what are going to help you take down the towers. But one of the greatest skills that Baretta has is that right there. So it reduces attack bar to 0, and that works on the towers. So the poison crystals, it'll take that down. It'll give you another chance to apply more dots to it. It'll take the boss's turn down. So yeah, and third skill dots. So you want him to get the most out of Baretta. A lot of people will put, like, say, energy or swift on him to try to get him super fast, which, excuse me, I am sorry. That's not bad, but you want despair on him because he's going to help keep the trash mobs off of you. He's really going to help with that third skill and the mini boss, the Zaros boss. So I would go despair on him. It works great, and it's going to be really helpful for you later on with Tower of Ascension too. So, all right, how do I have him ruined? So, speed, clearly. HP, accuracy. So, speed, HP, accuracy is where I'd shoot. HP wise, he does pretty good with about 20k. You can go a little bit less, around 18. You're really pushing it with that though, so you want to try for around 20k with him, is what I've foreseen with it. So, that's my team. Alright, so let's talk about who would be a good replacement for it. So I'm going to get out of here and I'm just going to show you. I'm not going to run it again. This is easier for me to just show you what the team is. So I also have been able to use Veromos, Bella, Konamiya, and Megan. So this team works. This is actually a straight to boss team. I don't have great runes for Sigmaris, so it only has about a 60% success rate, just because they're not where they should be stat-wise. If you're going to do this, and I'll jump out of this real quick, there are a couple ways that you can rune Konamiya if you're going to do that team composition. One really good way to do it would be Despair, Despair Blade. Obviously he's an attack monster, so you want attack, crit damage, attack. You want to try to get him around, if you get about 75% crit rate, that's where you want to shoot for dragons, because you have the element advantage, and if you get about 75, you're going to crit pretty much every time. So that's not too bad to do with substats. And then speed-wise, he's really lacking in speed. If you're going to run him, I would shoot for around 135, 140 speed, and then just focus on attack. Also, he's not that great with his attack, how I have him done. Preferably, if you're going to do that team composition, you want him around, I would say, 16 to 1700 attack, or 16 to 1800 attack would be preferable. I can't do it again because I just don't have the... Man, I'm thirsty. Yeah, I drink water from a squirrely straw out of a Pyrex can. Deal with it. I'm a goddamn adult. So yeah, back to that. So yeah, 16 to 1800 attack. You want to try to shoot for 120 minimum for crit damage, and crit rate about 75%. And then speed, 135, 140. And you should be able to pull it off with that. Also, again, if a great thing about that is if you don't have your Veromos on Violent, Konamiya works great. Konamiya, you want to shoot for, again, probably around 20k HP. With the speed, I don't have the best speed on him. You want to shoot for around probably about 140, 150 speed. And then accuracy, you just forget about it. So yeah, just HP, speed. And you can do Swift Energy with him. You can do Swift Guard works great. Get his defense up a little bit. I have him on Violent, Shield, and also that team composition with the Shield runes, put it on somebody because it will save you, and it has saved that team more than once. Shield runes on somebody that has really good HP are great. So, terrible rune, but yeah, so speed, HP, HP. And you can see, like, I don't have the best runes on him, and still that team composition, 60% is not bad starting out. Excuse me. So yeah, that team composition also works. So let's go back in here. What other team composition do I use? Do I have another one? I think I do. So I've also used... Maybe I don't. No, I think I only got 2. Yeah, I've only got 2. Another team you could think about, though, would be with Hem. You could throw in Hem. Yeah, I think I've done this before. Yeah, that team will also work. That one I've tried. Has about a 70-75% success rate because, again, like I said, I just don't have the capable runes for it again. So let's go back to attack order. And this is something that you want to think about too when you're doing dragons. So, and actually I'm just going to pop back into here because it's easier for me to explain so I can visualize it. So this is my team. There are many like it, but this is mine. So alright, here's how it works. So I'm going to talk about descending order as far as like speed. So Veromos is the fastest, he attacks first. And then Veromos is followed by Belladeon, who attacks second. And then Baretta, who attacks third. Megan is fourth. And then we have the slow-ass freaking Ariel back here. So I specifically did that on purpose, and this is why. So, if Megan gets her first turn, she's going to use her third turn buff. That's great, but if she goes first, buffs your team, typically your team's going to go first before the enemy even gets to attack, and guess what happens? You just wasted a whole turn of a buff. And you also just wasted an attack bar boost. So what happens is Veromos goes, Belladeon goes, Baretta goes, and while that's happening, Veromos is filling up his attack bar, and then Bella's filling up his attack bar as Baretta goes, and then Megan goes, she pops that attack bar boost, so she's filling everybody back up, giving them the attack buff and defense buff, and chances are Veromos is going to be able to attack again before the enemy can even go, and then enemy goes, but hey, you're going to be able to outspeed them. So that's why you want to think about that. So if you have an attack bar booster, such as like, well, Belladeon's not going to really do an attack bar boost because he only does it with a heal. So if your enemy, or I'm sorry, your team is low on health, then he'll attack bar boost them. So Megan's great with that, with her attack bar boost. Also, if you're lucky enough to pull a Verti-heal, well, if you're not lucky enough to pull a Verti-heal, you're probably not even watching this, so whatever. So that's the attack order that you want to start thinking of, and think a little bit outside the box. Look at their team synergy. How does this work? Who goes together? I mean, that's pretty basic stuff with that, so I'm sorry if I'm not giving the greatest advice on that. But, alright, so let's talk about rune requirements. Again, like I said, you're going to need speed. Lots of speed. Speed is the most important for dragons. So, again, like I said, unless it's like Sigmaris, yeah, unless it's like a really strong like nuker or something like that, you're going to need at least around 170 speed on all of your units. Is the basics you need to start out with. Once you have that, you can start shooting for HP. So HP you want around 18 to 20k minimum, and then you shouldn't have too hard of a time from there. Those are the basic units. You can farm Baretta, you can farm Veromos, you can get him. He might take you a little bit harder just because of that shitty, stupid, what is it? The Wind Lizardman. So if you don't get him, you can run with Konamiya, which shouldn't be too hard for you to get and level up. Team composition without Veromos. You can do, say, Konamiya. Well, you could run, say, we could do Sigmaris lead, Konamiya. You could run Baretta. So that's one, what is that? 1, 2, 3. You could run him, and then for the fourth, if you have a Delphoy, you could throw her in there because, what is it? So this one gives you immunity. So immunity monster, any type of an immunity monster you have, you could do a Chloe in replace of Veromos with that type of a team setup. Brownie Magician, which I think a lot of you have, he's not too bad for it. I've seen a couple team compositions that work with him, just because of his his whistle. So it fills your attack gauge and gives you immunity for 2 turns. Again, that's great. What else? Shannon, actually, surprisingly, I've seen a couple teams use a Shannon. Obviously not the best because she's wind, but also works. Spectra is freaking amazing. Actually, I would try to get Spectra. But yeah, Spectra, awesome. Third skill, so reduces attack bar and makes them slow. So that'll help you with crystals. That'll also help with the towers, keeping them slowed down and give you a chance to kill them. Where he really shines though is his boss killing ability right there. So it does it proportional to the boss's max HP. And he has the highest base speed of any monster in the game, I do believe. I think, yeah, base, yeah. So you could run him with Swift, try to get his crit rate to 100%. I have shit runes on him and I can't wait until the next rune removal so I can actually get him skilled up. But yeah, shoot for crit rate, because what I would do is try to get him around, like I said, 18k HP, and then speed. You could just do a Swift set. That should be able to get you up there with maybe two runes with some pretty good substats. Get him around 170 speed. That shouldn't be too hard. And then shoot for 100% crit rate and then crit damage. Because what happens is that skill right there, based upon the dragon's max HP. So if it crits, it's going to do shit tons more damage, and crit damage is going to play into it. So he can do massive damage to the boss. So yeah, Spectre would be a great addition to the team. And he's honestly not that hard to get. You can get him on Fire Dungeon Day, the secret dungeon, yeah, which shouldn't be too hard for you to get in. Another one you could consider is Amun. Again, Amun, for him to be really helpful and viable, you need him on Violent, and it's going to be pretty hard for you to do. You want him on Violent with about 130 speed, and that's going to be able to help you survive a lot more. And you want him with a lot of HP, and it's going to be hard for you to do. You can't do it at 5-star, I doubt, so it needs to be 6-starred. So if you have to, you can definitely use Amun. He shouldn't be that hard for you to get, and he could help with an AoE heal. Just remember, you need really good runes for him, and preferably, I would try to do Swift Energy. And this is one of the few monsters where broken sets, unless you have really good runes for it, it's better to have non-broken sets for Amun. So try to shoot for 130, 140 speed. Actually, more speed if you can get it. Try to shoot for around 22k HP. And you need to have 100% crit rate, or else his skill right here is going to be useless. Preferably the best way, you want him, again, like I said, on Violent. So yeah, you can use Amun, just be aware you're going to need some pretty damn good runes for him. Darien also helps really good with his third skill right here, so decreasing incoming damage. He also has a defense break, which is also pretty good, and he also has the attack decrease. So, and he can do a lot of damage too if you put him on all guard runes. With what's this based off of? Yeah, so you want to get him. You can do all energy runes. I would say try to do HP, crit damage, HP. Try to get him pretty high crit rate and good crit damage. He can do some pretty damn good damage, but he's mostly there just for that third skill, help you with survivability. But don't be dissuaded just because of that. He is a defense monster, but he can do some pretty good damage for you. So just remember that, and he's not that hard to get, so you can use Darien. So that might be one fill-in you can get. Who else could you do? If you pulled her, I know some of you have her, the Water Sylphid. She's pretty damn good. I don't use her, but she can do dots and she can do a full team heal, so that's also pretty good for that. Who else would work really good? Let's jump into here. So Megan, trying to think. I think I'm out. There's one more I'm trying to think of. It's easy for you guys to get so you can have them. Spectre, we already did that. Actually, no, I think that's it. Yeah. So I hope that was helpful. Oh yeah, that's who I was thinking of. The Water Rexasha, Sue. I've seen some people use her. Personally, I'm not a big fan, but this does do 3 continuous damage in a row, which can be helpful for the boss. But again, remember, if the boss clicks immunity, it's going to take him off, but those 3 would be really good. Takes down 15% of its health. first turn, so that's pretty good. She also has a third turn heal, which is also great, and if you can take down, say, left tower first, and then go towards boss, her first skill can do a slow on him. So that is also another monster you could think of. Lapis, Lapis would only be really good for like stunning the trash waves, but as far as like getting you past the mini boss or going to the main boss, the main dragon, Lapis is not going to be really helpful. Oh yeah, that's who, Shylock. Shylock would be an amazing pairing, and actually if you watch Schizophrenic Gamer, Jubagel did one where he paired Shylock and Spectre together, and the reason being is for their second skills, so it reduces the attack bar by 30%, attacks 3 times, each one 30% chance, so it reduces the attack bar by 30%. So that's great, and the Tidal Wave also can reduce the attack bar by 30%, and it does it based upon your max HP. So that's another one you could think of. So that's a team that's completely farmable. It's Shylock, Spectra, so Shylock, Spectra, Bella, Vero would be great, and then maybe a Megan. If you can't do that, then it would be Shylock, Spectra, Konamiya, and 1, 2, 3, Bella for 4, and then for 5 you could probably do Darien. That team may work. It doesn't have a lot of damage potential there, so I'd say Shylock, Spectra, Konamiya, Bella, and then Veromos. So that'd be a pretty good team to go with. But yeah, that's all that I've got for now. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. Helps a lot. If you have any questions, I'm getting better at this. Email's right up there. Just shoot me an email or leave a comment down below. I do try to answer everybody's comments. That's it for this video. So thanks for watching. Trigger Tickle out.